Good morning.
Morning, sir. How are you doing?
I am doing wonderful.
Great. Good signal, good picture and sound. Welcome this morning.
Interestingly enough, I did a speed test on my desktop, and now it's fine.
Okay.
It's like 300 megabyte.
Oh my goodness. Well, we'll take it, right?
Technology, huh?
All right.
But don't tell Julie I don't. Oh, hi, Jules.
So just to let you know, it's 8:56 and we're streaming live now. Just wanted to get a jump on it, even though not everyone's here. I'm started at my today and wanted to get ahead of it. So we're good.
Having watched several of these back in order to prepare findings and orders and such, it's kind of funny to see us sitting around chatting before, in the middle, after.
Yeah, people are going to get another perspective of the hearing board for sure. A deeper appreciation, no doubt.
Morning.
Morning, Senator. Your signal looks good. How are you doing, sir?
Oh,
My photograph.
unmuted. There we go.
Great.
That was the People magazine 30 years ago.
Okay. Sound and picture looks good.
They featured me in People magazine 30 first buyback in the United States of America.
Wow.
Nice.
Nice. Very good.
Photograph, big story.
All right. Great. So we're just looking for Cynthia, Board Member Verdugo Peralta, and we'll be complete, Madam Chair, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll check on her in a minute. I don't know if Val Teresa is around to check on her.
Yeah,
You-
I will have the clerk give her a call. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, she is on the phone getting some information right now, so should be just a moment.
Okay, thank you.
Good morning, Shad. Good morning, everyone. Twitter made some news yesterday in a blog post announcing it will allow employees to work from home forever if they choose. They said the past few months have proven they can make it work, which is very interesting. Meanwhile, Al.
It's time for summer. The Universal Studio City Walk in Orlando is going to be open tomorrow on a limited basis. We'll only be open for 6 hours a day for all guests and employees expected to follow CDC guidelines. Now, while City Walk is filled with shops and restaurants, there are no actual rides, and Universal Studios theme parks themselves will
Julie, Cynthia's having some problems logging on, so she's gonna probably connect by phone until at least she can get her computer up. So just
Okay.
giving you a heads up on that.
She thinks she'll be up and running. I mean, we only have consent. We could wait maybe another 5 or 10 minutes, but otherwise, if it doesn't look likely, then we could just put her in by phone.
Okay. All right, I'll let her know.
Thank you.
Okay, Julie?
Yes.
Okay, she is only going to be able to call in. Her internet, she's having problems with, so she is trying to do that. And
Okay, I'll look for her. I don't see anybody in the waiting room yet.
Yeah.
There she is. Okay. Mhm.
She's probably going to have to unmute herself.
Okay, I did unmute her. Cynthia, is that you?
Yeah, I'm on the phone. I'm still trying to get on line. Let me see if it'll work this time. Yeah.
Oh,
it's-
wait, I see
supposedly
you.
it's working and it's waiting for me. Okay, I'm gonna hang up the phone.
Okay. All right.
There we are. Thank you.
Mhm.
Great, great, great. Okay,
Looks good.
so then if we're
Sounds
ready,
good.
okay, is everyone ready? All right,
We're ready.
we are on the record, and the South Coast, the hearing board at the South Coast Air Quality Management District is in session. Today is May 13th, 2020. The time is just after 9:05 a.m. We are meeting this morning via Zoom remote hearing due to the COVID-19 pandemic and the stay-at-home orders and executive orders of the governor of California. This morning, we have one matter on our calendar, and that is on consent calendar. And it is South Coast Air Quality Management District versus Hubbell, Inc., Lyall Division, case number 6172-2, and it's for a stipulated order for abatement. We have a number of documents. I want to make sure we mark them all this morning. I'm going to keep all hearing board members unmuted. I'm going to unmute all of you because we're on consent. Well, I guess I can't unmute. There we go, Mohan and Dr. Bernstein, if you want to unmute yourself. Since there is no hearing and we are on consent, that way we can all freely speak when we need to. So I'm going to begin by marking all of these documents. The first is the stipulation to place the matter on consent. And because that was prepared by the respondent, we're going to begin by marking that as Exhibit A, as an apple. Okay, and in that stipulation, the parties do agree that the matter may be placed on today's consent calendar. They also agree that the declarations of Antonio Garcia, Elizabeth Trejo, and Jennifer Marchak will be submitted and entered into evidence. So we're going to start by marking the declaration of Antonio Garcia. That will be, with its attachments, will be Exhibit B, as in boy, for respondent, and will be entered into evidence. In addition, declaration of Elizabeth Trejo will be marked as Exhibit C, as in Charlie, and it has an Exhibit A to it, for the respondent. And finally, and also entered into evidence. And finally, the declaration of Jennifer Marchak will be marked as Exhibit D, as in David, also for the respondent, and placed in evidence. The parties also agreed on proposed findings and decision and a proposed order, and they have stipulated to the conditions that are set forth in the proposed order and findings. And we're going to mark the proposed findings and order as Exhibit number 1 for the district petitioner. They finally agree that the district does not oppose the granting of the petition, and the parties agree that the operation under the proposed order is not expected to result in a violation of California Health and Safety Code, Section 41700. Finally, we have one other. I just want to make sure that all hearing board members did see this. There was a email chain Then went back and forth. It was on the same email chain which first delivered the consent documents to us. There was a single comment from me and a single question from Mr. Balagopalan. Both of those are included in the email chain. The question from Mr. Balagopalan was whether or not the preheat oven was subject to Rule 222 of the district, and the answer was no, it is not subject to Rule 222. And the comment from the chair was simply, and at the appropriate time, I will raise it again, to frame the proposed order in the proper form. It was not, the order was not phrased in the proper form, but we'll get to that. Not a big deal. So we will mark that chain all together as hearing board 1, hearing board exhibit number 1. Okay, and I'm going to look and see if there's anyone else on the line that is not someone that we recognized as either a hearing board member or with the district. And I see no one. So I'm just going to say that I'm looking for anyone from the public who wishes to be heard before the hearing board deliberates on this consent matter. And seeing that no one is present, at least who can comment, I'm going to move on and see whether anyone wishes to begin discussion or deliberation. Would anyone like to begin in this matter?
Excuse me, Madam Chair, I just have a real quickie question.
Sure.
I didn't hear you clearly. Was the email chain exhibit number 2?
No, it will be hearing board 1, HB-1.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? And I think Mr. Balagopalan would like to begin the deliberations. Mr. Balagopalan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I believe we can find a good cause for supporting the consent. The stipulated order abatement. This facility is in violation of 203A and also 1147. I believe it's C. Sorry, let me get that.
C1.
C1. Thank you. The situation was, I think there was a recent inspection at the facility, and the inspector determined that the first stage, sorry, let me back up. The process from the description is there's a preheat, and it's also been defined as a drying oven, and then after that it goes into the powder coating operation where the epoxy coating is applied, and then the next stage is the curing oven where it's baked on the pipe, and then they do the assembly. So the inspector determined that the first stage, the preheating section, needs a permit, and they could not provide any supporting document to indicate whether it was less than 2 million BTU, which would have exempted it from permit. The faceplate on the burner was missing, so they could not make the determination if it's less or more than 2 million BTU. Subsequently, so then I think what the petitioner decided to do is to find a replacement burner, and what they're proposing to do is to get a burner that is rated at 2 million so that it's exempt from permit. So they then, by getting and installing that burner, they don't have to meet the 1147 one limit of 30 ppm. The current burner is probably 90 to 110 ppm, but they're not. They didn't apply for a permit. That's why they went to the order of abatement, because they don't have a permit for the drying section of it. So, but I think once they were notified, they actually took timely action. They worked very quickly trying to find a replacement, but then they found out that it was not that easy to get a replacement, and it takes a while, and it had to be manufactured. And there's a period of time, I think, spent to maybe about 10 to 12 weeks getting the burner and getting it installed. So, and then abundance with the COVID-19, there may be potential delays. So they're asking, I think, until about August timeframe to get for the stipulated order, so that they can get the new burner in, get it installed, and then move on. Once they install the burner, they would be exempt, and then My question is whether they needed to do even a filing, but it looks like under the definition process heater, Ms. Sue replied that it was a drying oven, which may imply maybe they're doing some cleaning before they do the coating. But either way, either it's a drying or a preheating oven, it doesn't fall under 222 right currently as it's stated. So once they get the new burner installed and operating, they don't have to worry of that portion of that section of that operation because it'll be all exempt from both permit and from the rule requirement.
Thank you. I agree. I think that we can find good cause. I just for the record, the company they do fabricate pipes and pipe fittings used in the oil and gas industry. And my understanding of first of all, it was very comprehensive, I think. I'm always hesitating to allow matters such as a complicated stipulated order for abatement to be placed on consent. I think given the current pandemic and the issues of having remote hearings, I think this was a good idea to do. And I thought that the evidence and declarations were very comprehensive. So first I wanted to thank the parties because everything I would have asked about I was able to find in the declarations and the various exhibits. So this facility, at least as far as we understand, was first inspected in January and February of this year. And it was found that a total of 9 pieces of equipment did not have proper permitting. So I don't know what the backstory is of that or why that is, but we're not here on a variance. We are here on an order for abatement, and we are looking forward for how quickly we can bring this facility into compliance. But given that first piece of information that there were 9 total pieces of equipment and we're now down to 1, and this was January and February, and then there was a notice to comply. I agree that this facility acted very quickly, filed properly applications for 8 pieces of the equipment. So they are no longer out of compliance for any of those pieces of equipment. And that was done by March. So that was very quick action to bring almost the entire facility into compliance. The only thing left, as Mr. Balagopalan, you pointed out, was the preheat oven. And due to the fact that they don't know how old it is and they assume it is not in compliance with the NOx requirements or the NOx limits. But I can find good cause because, first of all, as you said, very quick time frame. They did check with many different suppliers for the burner that they are looking for, and they found that only one manufacturer makes it, and that it is that 12-week time frame. They have been checking in weekly and bi-weekly. They have agreed to continue to do that, and so far the manufacturer says it's still on track, even though regardless of the COVID-19 shutdowns. They have also agreed to curtailing their operations, which I think lends to good cause. So whereas they normally have 57 hours of operation each week in order to meet their needs, they have scaled it down to what they absolutely need without losing their contracts to 40 hours per week, which does reduce the excess emissions from, I think, about 2.9 pounds per day to about 2.5 pounds per day, which isn't nothing, but isn't relatively is small enough compared to if this order did not allow them to come into compliance and to continue operating, they would lose about $3 million from breach of contract and approximately 80 jobs. So I think given the quick time frame of no later than August 31st and all of those other factors, that good cause can be established here. Any other thought? Okay. Oh, Ms. Verdugo-Peralta. Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I also agree exactly with what you were saying regarding their efforts, especially in trying to find the suppliers, and also especially in curtailing the hours, knowing that they may lose business. The fact that they were willing to reduce it from the 57 to the 40 hours per week in that business alone, I think it was commendable. So for those reasons, I also can find good cause. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other thoughts? Or ask for a motion? Okay. Mr. Balagopalan, would you like to offer a motion?
Yes, I would. I know there's a correction you pointed out, and
I can read to you what I was considering for that.
Okay.
It's merely a change in accordance with Health and Safety Code, requires a certain form for all of our orders for abatement to require that the respondent refrain from doing something, or in the alternative, to comply with conditions. So on page 4 of Exhibit 1, which is the proposed findings and decision, line 4, where it says the proposed order, therefore, good cause appearing, this board orders respondent to, I would simply insert before the word immediately comply, it would say respondent to refrain from operating its preheat oven, or in the alternative, and then immediately comply. So the whole sentence would read, therefore, good cause appearing, this board orders respondent to refrain from operating its preheat oven, or in the alternative, immediately comply with the following conditions. And that would be the, and it's not substantive. So I had hoped that the parties would change that. They didn't, but it's okay. I think we can still leave it on consent and just change that form of the ordinance.
Yeah, I think based on that change, then I'll make a motion that we, in the matter of South Coast versus Hubbell Inc. Lyall Division, case number 6172-2, that we have good cause to for this to grant this stipulated order of abatement, with the change to the removing the word proposed in the order to findings and decision, and then incorporating the language you just stated for the record to be inserted in the findings. And I think there are no other changes other than that.
And so it completes your motion to incorporate Exhibit 1 proposed finding.
Yes. Thank you.
Is there a second? Ms. Verdugo Peralta, a second? Okay. Are there any is there any discussion on that motion? Okay. I vote yes. Dr. Bernstein, how do you vote?
Aye.
Senator, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Verdugo Peralta, how do you vote?
Aye.
And Mr. Balagopalan?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0. Thank you very much. And again, thanks to the parties for a very comprehensive presentation on consent. Board members, any other business before we adjourn? Thank you. Thank you. Oh,
Sorry, Madam Chair.
yes.
I just need clarification on the documents that are entered into evidence. I understand that it is the 3 declarations,
Correct.
the stipulation. Is that also entered into evidence?
No.
Okay, and then the proposed finding, is that entered into evidence?
No.
Okay. All right, thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you all. We are adjourned.
Thank you.
We don't have anything on calendar for tomorrow, correct? Or,
No.
No.
well, in that case, have a nice weekend, everybody. And stay safe.
And thank you as always, Paul.
Bye.
Thank you, Paul,
Bye.
as always. And Teresa, thank you. Talk to you soon.
Yes, thank you, Teresa.
Bye-bye.
Toodaloo.